Hey, welcome everybody. It's Wednesday at 1. Is right now the perfect time to buy real estate? I mean, is that crazy? Wednesday at 1 o'clock, February 1st, 2023. Is this the perfect time to buy real estate? Who knows? Let's find out. I'm going to try to make the case for it. I was never on the debate team, so you have to apologize my very basic logic here. I'm Chris Schweigel, CEO and founder of Chris Connects. We're a real estate investing company that hooks you up with passive investing opportunities. So, hey, welcome everybody. Welcome back. It's another Wednesday. You can notice that I'm in front of the fireplace because I live in Minnesota. We don't get a lot of sun. We actually got some sun. Unfortunately, in the winter in Minnesota, you either get sun or you get moderate temperatures. So we've got sun today, freezing cold outside, but who cares? We're inside. Let's do it. I got my associate professor sweater on. I'm ready to rock this. So here's the debate. Is right now the perfect time to buy real estate? And I know that's crazy. And I'm not talking about buy your own, primary home, because there's never a bad time or a good time to buy. You always need shelter. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about investment properties. Is now the perfect time? And I know what you're thinking. No, duh. I mean, there's inflation going on. Interest rates are still pretty high. They're in the 5s range right now, maybe approaching 6. Layoffs are happening. There's a recession. We're either in it, have been in it, or are about to hit it, depending on who you talk to. But things are not looking rosy at the moment. Things are looking pretty gloomy. So why would I possibly think that right now would be the perfect time to buy? Well, here we are. I've got 4 reasons why. 1, we don't have enough housing. 2, people are going to be moving out of their current house into rentals. 3, interest rates. Who knows where they're going to go, but right now is a perfect time to get involved. And number 4, it's always good to have real estate. So let's go with the first one. There's a housing shortage. Yeah, that's right. So there's a housing shortage. Depends on who you ask. It's anywhere between 1.5 million to 11 million housing units short in the United States right now. Now, what exactly does that mean? That means that people are doubled up. People are, living with roommates who wish that they were on their own. Maybe people are living with family members who wish that they were on their own. Maybe people can't afford to live somewhere. Or maybe, people are stuck living somewhere where they wish that they could sell and move somewhere else. And at the same time, builders aren't building right now because, the economic future is uncertain. So the housing shortage, as we, create more people, and if you don't know how that's done, talk to somebody else about that. But anyway, we're creating more people, which creates more need for housing, more demand. But the supply side isn't increasing to match that demand. So in the future here, I'm talking 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the line, the housing shortage gap could widen even more than it is right now. So right now is a perfect time to get involved and just ride that wave. I don't know. What do you think? Number 2, interest rates. They were very, very low. A year ago, they were in the 3s. Then they got up to the 6s, approaching 7. Now they're kind of back down in the 5s, upper 5s range. So why is now the perfect time to buy real estate? Well, because some people think that the interest rates are going to go down. And when you ask them, they say, well, because they have to. The government needs to lower interest rates so that it can service its own debt. Well, sure, I suppose that's a hypothesis, but there isn't a whole ton of evidence to support that other than, I guess, common sense or looking at a balance sheet. But there's not a ton of evidence out there in the macroeconomic world that points that way. There's a lot more evidence that points to increasing interest rates. And I don't know what's going to happen. I just try to read the tea leaves a little bit and predict for my company and my portfolio where things are going. And I personally think that interest rates are going to go up a little bit before they come back down. So either way, let's take both scenarios. Let's say we buy right now at 5.75% interest. Great. What if interest rates go down? What if they go back down to 3.5%? Awesome. We are going to be so grateful that we bought real estate now at 5.75%, because when it goes down to 3.5%, we can refinance. We can capture some of that equity that we've gained. Also, when interest rates go down, housing becomes more affordable, which means the prices of houses are going to go up. One of the reasons why we've seen, little declines in the prices of housing, and of course it depends on the market that you're in. You'll see some markets actually still increasing, some markets are decreasing pretty dramatically. But across the United States, we've seen a small depression in the price of homes. So a good reason why this is because interest rates are up. And so let's say you're going to buy $2,000 a month mortgage is what you can afford. You could buy a $400,000 house at 3.5%, but only a $300,000 house at 5.75% perhaps. So as you can afford more, you're willing to pay more for the price of the house, because you're trying to figure out how much you have to pay per month. So normally people think about how much their house costs in terms of a monthly payment, not in a big lump sum. People can say, oh, great, my house is worth $400,000. But most of the time you just say, I've got a $2,000 mortgage payment. That's how it hits your pocket. So that's how you think of it. But if interest rates go down, the housing that we bought now has gone up, which is great. So we've created equity out of thin air, and we can refinance at a lower rate. But let's say the prices of interest rates go up. Let's say interest rates go up. What happens to pricing then? It'll probably stay flat or go down a little bit. Well, then why would we be happy that we have real estate now if it's going to go flat or go down? Well, it's because we bought at 5.75% instead of 7.75%. So we've actually locked in a lower interest rate. So we got ourselves a deal just because we acted. And that's part of real estate investing, is just taking action. If you're buying in a place where people are moving to, housing demand will go up, which causes the price of your home to go up. That's how you make money for yourself and your portfolio, for your family. That's how you make money for your investors, is you invest in places where people are moving to. Because you can't predict whether home prices are going to go up, interest rates are going to go up or down. We have no idea. Hey, I'm just debating here. You can take whatever you like and leave the rest. Third, I think that with the recession that's coming, or we're in it already, depending on who you ask, but what we do know is there are a lot of layoffs. And we know this because there's a ton of articles every single day. You can go on the internet or go to the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, or my local paper here, Pioneer Press or Star Tribune, and read about layoffs. People are losing their jobs. The unemployment rate isn't all that high, but that's mostly because people aren't looking for jobs. So just the pool of people who could be in the workforce has dramatically decreased since the pandemic. And so the unemployment numbers look good on paper, but in reality, a lot of companies are doing layoffs, especially tech companies, retail companies. Large employers are experiencing layoffs. Now, when that happens, people and their families take in less money, and that's tough for them. And tough decisions are happening. I've been there. I've done that. I was just recording some content yesterday where I talked about how I was living in a friend's den 8 years ago. I mean, this isn't even a sanctioned bedroom. This was a den with like a tiny window, and there's no way I was fitting through there. Like maybe a guinea pig or a cat would have fit through there. Maybe a boa constrictor that had not eaten could fit through there, but certainly not a human body was going to fit through there. And so now I'm in a house and I feel great, but I've experienced those tough times, so I know what that's like. It's no good, but you make ends meet. You figure it out. You stay in someone's basement. You buddy up. You move back in with family. You take on a second job. You do whatever you can. For a lot of people, the answer is going to be selling their house, getting some of that equity, and then renting. If you look at the numbers of people who are home buyers versus renters. There's the number of people who are buying houses is decreasing, and the people who are renting is increasing. Now, there's a whole number of factors that go into that. Part of it is baby boomers wanting to downsize and not take care of a home. Some of it is millennials and Gen Z people who would rather just move around and be nomads or not be tied down to a mortgage or a house. They'd rather just rent or live in an apartment with amenities and things like that. There's a whole number of reasons why, but you can't fight the demographics, which are saying that more and more people are renting. Which concludes number 3. It's great to be a real estate investor right now and to buy real estate right now because more and more people are becoming renters. So if there's more renters and there's already a housing shortage and more people are seeking rentals, the price of rents is going to increase, which it's great to be on this side of the ledger rather than the other side of the ledger. I do think in the next few years it's going to be unfortunate for some people who are renting as rents increase even more at the time that inflation is happening and layoffs are happening and all that kind of stuff. And it's terrible. Of course, we don't want anything terrible to happen. That's why we're doing education, creating content so that people can see this and help themselves out. There's a lot of people out there looking to help real estate investing, and I love that community. I love helping you guys. I love chit-chat, and I love every question that comes in. I respond to every email and all that kind of stuff, but now I digress and I'm getting off track. Number 3, I'm winning this debate. There's no rebuttal. Real estate investing is awesome right now. And the 4th one, why real estate investing is great right now and why you should be buying real estate right now is because it's always awesome to be buying real estate. I mean, it really is. Unless you drastically overpay or dramatically mistime the market, you're always going to be happy that you got into real estate, especially if it's passive income, especially if someone else is doing the work for you. I know a ton of people, and I'm sure you know a bunch of people who have become real estate investors. They're their own landlord. They own some property. They get sick of getting calls. They get sick of changing out toilets, or someone wrecks this, or I've got an argument with this, or can I have this person move in? Now I've got a dog and a cat, and now I've got a raccoon, and I've got a emotional support boa constrictor that did not eat something. So anyway, there's all sorts of number of problems with tenants and termites and toilets, as they say. But with passive investing, you say, here's my money. Go make my money. Make sure that you send back my money with friends. I think it's a great time right now to be a passive investing real estate investor right now, just for the simple fact that it seems awesome. Like everything is pointing towards housing shortages. Interest rates are at that perfect sweet spot where they're not too high, but they could go down and you could refinance. There's people clearly moving from some parts of the country to other parts of the country, and you can figure out those demographics and you can play that game and ride that wave. But there's a lot that goes into it. And there's a lot of connections and networking and all that kind of stuff that goes into it. So I think right now is the greatest time to buy real estate. I also think more than that, right now is the greatest time to be a passive investor in real estate because, hey, the seas are rocky. So you want to be with someone who has ridden in the sea before, who's ridden a canoe over the reef like Moana, who's, been in a big ship, who's sailed across the sea, and other sorts of analogies. Maybe they've even watched the movie The Perfect Storm. That would be a good one. But anyways, you'll want to align yourself with people who have been there, done that. I'm not saying it has to be me. It could be me. But please make sure it's with someone who is experienced so that you can ride these waves into the future. I think there's a huge opportunity within us right now and within this economy right now. But you got to play it right. You got to be with someone who knows what they're doing. So I hope that this was helpful. It seems like there is no rebuttal, so I absolutely dominated. I won this debate with all 4 of my points. Why right now, February 1st, 2023 is the absolute best time to buy real estate. So until next Wednesday, I'm Chris with Chris Connects. Take care, you guys.